All right, we back on. We back live.
Going on.
What up, Cream?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
We good, fam. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear it. So, of course, I know you through the Yardies, through the production team, Matt and Chris. They've been talking about you for a long time. I first got hip to you through the joint Clarity. So tell me a little bit about how that joint came together and just a little bit about yourself as an artist.
Okay. Which one first?
Oh, however you want to run it, fam. You can work forward or backwards with it. I'm flexible.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start with what you asked. Okay, so the song came about the artist. Actually, it was Matt at this time. He sent me a bunch of beats. We've been working together since my first mixtape. I dropped my first mixtape in 2015 called This Shit Easy. And they ended up sending me a bunch of beats, and they sent me so many that I liked. I was like, man, let's do a tape together. So they was with it. So Clarity was a song I had actually did from them sending me those beats. And I booked shows in the city I'm from. I'm from Rome, Georgia. So I booked shows, and at the time, Gunna was coming up, and I booked him for a show. And at the time when I booked him for a show, I ended up getting a verse at the same time as well.
Well, that's
Gunna, you know what I'm saying, being featured on the song.
That's how I wanted to know. I wanted to know how Gunna ended up featured on the track, because when I heard the track, I'm like, oh, and it was like Fam from Rome. I'm like, how Fam from Rome pulled Gunna on the track? I'm like, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the Rome rap scene too, because, that's a nice little pull from a cat from Rome to be able to get Gunna on the track. Like most guys down here in the A can't get Gunna on the track. So,
yeah, man, it was, man, I've seen him in the mall. I said, shout it, you know what I'm saying? I fucked with just shit. He was like, damn, man, I like that jacket you got on. Where you get that from? We had a little conversation.
Right.
I need to book you for a show. And it went from there.
Okay, cool. So tell me a little bit about the rap scene up in Rome. Like a lot of people not plugged to it. Like I know I'm not plugged up to it. So go ahead and put people on. Like tell me what the Rome rap scene is like reflective of, about. Tell me what the inspirations is coming from. Tell me who some of your biggest inspirations are.
Okay, well the rap scene, it's been going on forever. My daddy used to rap. It was a group back in the day called Backyard Poets. They was finna sign a deal back in the day to Universal, and then they kind of broke up. One of the guys tried to double back and try to get a deal on his own and screwed it up. Like, you do that to your guys, wow. So that was like the first kind of guys that came around. Then we got like DJ Brad. He's from Rome. He, you know what I'm saying? He had a deal and stuff. Like he did some big stuff with the music. And then as far as like the rap scene, it's pretty much like local, but it's like a lot of people rap though.
You got a lot of talent up there, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a lot of exposure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're doing a good job about like getting them exposure. Matt was actually telling me a story about how you brought Thug up to Rome, Georgia one time. Is that true? Like, how did that happen?
Okay, when it was actually when Gunna came to do the show. When Gunna came to do the show, it was like I booked him a month before Drip season came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I booked for 30 days later, something like that. You feel me? So when he was going on his run, so that was around the time Gucci was like, I got $1 million for him.
Right.
So wouldn't let him go anywhere by himself. So when he came around, he was high on the money.
Right. He wasn't about to let him out of his pocket. Right.
No, not at all.
No. That's dope. That's dope. That's what's up. So you said This Shit Easy came out in 2015. It's cataloged as 2018 because I was going through your catalog today. Why is it cataloged 2018? You said you did it in 2015 because I thought Wilson Ave Day was your first project.
No, my first project was This Shit Easy, and then I dropped a tape called Just Because in 2016. It's just the publishing I never paid to put the publishing back up. But if you actually go on to like my SoundCloud and like Audio Mac and stuff like that, you can still find those mixtapes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your project Wilson Ave Day. I was listening to that today. I really enjoyed that.
Okay, Wilson Ave Day. I had just got into some trouble in Atlanta, and I had been living in Atlanta from like 2009 to like 2016, I ended up getting into some trouble in Fulton County, where I was barred from Fulton County for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like my coming home tape. I had sat home for like a month and was going to a home studio and was recording that. I'm from Wilson Avenue, so I named the tape Wilson Avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me what you got up next. Tell me what's going on with you right now, musically, what you got going on. I see you in the yo right now.
Okay, yeah, right now, yeah, you know, I got it at the house, but right now, the tape I just dropped Friday is you know,
Who in the Yard?
Yeah, artists, yeah.
Yeah.
The artists, every beat produced by the artists. I got the Gunna feature on there. I got a feature from a guy named 2G down here. I got a feature from my guy Day Day from Florida. I got a feature from my guy Fat Matt from the house, and pretty much the rest of the tape me. The mixtape version is on Spinrilla, and DJ Holiday and DJ Swamp Izzo hosting the tape.
Okay. When the next time you coming down here to perform, or as pandemic kind of got you, you kind of locked up? You know, Atlanta about the only place that's open.
Yeah, I've been pretty much just in the house, man, with the pandemic thing going. But you know, if this tape pick up, you know what I'm saying, some money involved, I'm gonna do my thing.
No. We appreciate you like coming out and hollering at us and stuff. I've been checking for your stuff for a while. We appreciate you coming to holler at us at According to Hip Hop. And, you know, just like stay plugged us and let us know what you got going on next, man. I definitely am enjoying the tape. You know, like these tracks that you rapping on, you know, I know the Yardie, so it's like I've been hearing these beats, so to hear you rapping on to hear them, I'm like, oh, yeah, like it's all coming together and I can see the plays and stuff.
It's like they beats talk to you, man.
Yeah, you know, like those guys are musically inclined. That's part of why I fuck with them, too. It's like they shit hit a little different. Like you can tell that they played instruments and stuff. Yeah. No, I feel you.
So, all right, well, I appreciate y'all for having me, man.
All day.
And everybody that's watching, man, follow on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, Cream De Niro.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say, man.
And keep us plugged to what's going on in Rome. Like, you know, I want to know. Talent comes from everywhere, fam. You know what I'm saying? I don't care where it's from. I just want to know who really, like, you know, get busy with it.
Man, I got you locked in, man.
Yeah. Y'all about to say you got my math. Yep.
All day.
All right, easy, Cream.
All right, yeah.
All right, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yo, get these screens back right. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, there we go. I got two of me right here. I'm sitting here producing on the fly. Nah. Boom.
No, you cool.
Hold on, one more thing, man. It's like,
we're independent.
Right.
Look,
we are definitely.
We don't have nobody pulling our strings. We don't have nobody pulling our strings.
Right. I'm trying to see which one's actually. All right, yeah. This is what I'm going to do. All right, boom. Swap that out. Anyway, yeah, you know what? That's dope, man. And I want to hear more of his stuff, too, because I know you. I already know the Yardie shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, their beats is hitting and everything. What I was going to say is, it's interesting, man, when you hear about artists that are in markets that you really don't hear a lot of artists coming from. Mm-hmm. There was actually a concept, like, as far as like a piece of content, like a show that we had a idea about doing, where we actually documented the hip hop scene in some markets that you never hear the hip hop artists come from. Like, I'm pretty sure cities the size of, like, you know, Phoenix, Arizona have a hip hop scene, but can you name an MC that ever came out of Phoenix?
You know what? There was actually somebody that the game had signed probably about, I want to say 15 years ago, that was coming out of Phoenix. Dude had some talent. And, you know, Cool G Rap spent some time in Arizona. I'm not sure which part, but I think he had worked with some cats out there that I got wind of. That's when I was back, like, on my Superhead shit, though, Mike. And I used to dig through, like, stuff every day, like the obscure stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's out there in every market. Hip-hop is everywhere. And, you know, it was funny, man. I was thinking about, you remember that dude, Cuckoo Cal, out of Milwaukee?
Course. My project?
Yeah. And it's like we haven't heard from an MC to come out of Milwaukee again. Not on the mainstream level, but I'm sure they got a scene. But yeah, that'd be a dope show to just do.
I mean, I bet you there are a lot of Chicago rappers that are actually originally from Milwaukee, because it would make sense to migrate to Chicago from Milwaukee. What is that, like a 45-minute drive?
Right. You know, it was funny, man. When Atlanta's scene, before Atlanta's scene got the way it is, everybody would just claim certain parts of Atlanta. And, you know, shout out to the Migos for actually, you know, representing Gwinnett County. Nobody would have ever done that in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was Southwest Atlanta or you were from Decatur.
I mean, I think those things used to matter more when it came, like specifically with the South. That was important in terms of establishing a name. So when you're hearing, you know, Scarface shout out certain Houston wards, and when you're hearing Outkast and Goody Mob claim SWATs, East Point, talking about Campbellton Road, you know what I'm saying, Decatur.
But there has to be somebody to put things on the map. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. There has to be. But here's what I thought about when I thought of Cream today, too, because obviously I was listening to his stuff. And, you know, Rome is north of Atlanta. I was thinking, you know, it takes probably, it's very, I'm not the same thing, but it's just kind of like, it's like, you know, Griselda is up in Buffalo, which is like.
Nobody was repping Buffalo before, but I'm sure they had rappers before. Shout out to Rodney Dunn checking in. Rodney Dunn's checking in from Okawa, Japan. What's up, fellas? What's up, man?
Hey, what up, fam?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I'm sure there's rappers everywhere. And it just takes a certain person to go out there and have the guts, number one, to represent a certain side. Like, I remember, even when I was going to high school, it was cats that, you know, they remain nameless, but they got record deals, but they wouldn't tell people exactly what part of Atlanta they were from. It was like, wow, this person went to school with me, and they repping the SWATs? That's interesting, you know? But I think that that's one of those things where it's like, you know, it takes people to be able to break down that barrier and say, okay, I'm repping Stone Mountain, like Childish Gambino, or I'm repping the East Side, like Sci-Hi or something.
So when he's saying like he's repping like Stone Mountain, like Mike, I grew up in Lithonia a little bit, and I went to Rock Chapel in Redan. Like, I'm not from the East Side. Like, I lived on Memorial Drive too. Am I more East Side because I lived on Memorial Drive? Like, if I would have stayed in Lithonia and never spent no time like up on Marbutt or up on Candler or up on Memorial, am I not East Side now? You feel what I'm saying? Right. That's what I mean, where it's like some of that shit got to give at some point, because part of the reason when people ask me where I'm from, I tell them I'm from the East Side because I done lived on all parts of the East Side. We moved around a lot. I really don't have no hood to claim. That don't mean I ain't from the fucking East Side.
No, I feel that. It said Phil Mob represents Albany, Georgia, and they was fire back in the day. And that's real. And I love the
Phil
fact
Mob was fired, smoking, rap his ass off. We used to have the same barber.
Easily, Phil Mob could have just, you know, meshed in with Atlanta, but you know what? They represented Albany, and that was dope. And I love the fact they did that. Hey, same thing with Pastor Troy.
I always thought that hurt them, though, Mike.
I think it did
because
too.
I thought they never got their just due. I never thought they got their just due.
I agree.
And I think a lot of it was because they didn't really fall into the whole Atlanta thing and play the game and do it. It's like they kind of touched it a little bit, but they didn't really play the game. And I think it ended up hurting them because I think a lot of people who should have heard their music didn't end up hearing their music.
Because Jeezy,
I knew you were going there. Go ahead. Hey.
No one knows where Jeezy's from. I kind
of like that. I told you I've always liked that.
But I think we all assume that Jeezy's from Atlanta. And like when he says put on for my city, what city are we talking about?
Well, I know, I mean, I know the hoods that he hustled in and on, and those are, that's
that more Boulevard?
Those are Atlanta tags and zip codes as far as those are concerned, but I don't know where he's from. But here's what I'm saying when I say that, Mike. Technically, I'm from Charlotte. I was born in Charlotte, but I was mostly raised in Atlanta. I didn't really move to Charlotte till I was about 13, 14. I left Charlotte, Greensboro when I was 19, and then I came back to Atlanta, and then I went to Cali. And then I came back to Atlanta.
Right.
Like, where am I from? Am I from really Charlotte because my birth certificate say so? Well, kind of, sort of, but really I'm more Atlanta than I am Charlotte.
You know, like, what I just learned?
My rap aesthetic is Charlotte. But everything else about me is more Atlanta.
Rodney said, I thought Jeezy was from Macon. Me too.
That's what I was told.
You know what I just learned, though? The other day, Beehive did an interview with Poon Daddy. Shout out to Beehive and Poon Daddy. But we all know Ludacris, Chris Love Lover, aka Chris Love Lover, was, born in Illinois somewhere and came to Atlanta, I think, in high school. But I had no idea that Poon Daddy was from L.A.
I didn't know that either.
I had no, because he sound like he's from Atlanta, like. But he was telling a story about 2 Chainz, and he was saying that Chris, Ludacris, and 2 Chainz was born like in the same week, same year, everything. And he was just talking about how he ran into 2 Chainz and how they met and how they got close. But anyway, 2 Chainz was selling him weed, and it was, some average weed, and because Pooh Daddy was like, man, I'm from LA, man, you got to give me that, whatever. And then 2 Chainz like, I got you. I got to go to my mama for this one. And he said 2 Chainz literally went to his mom and got the weed that Poon Daddy needed. But I had no idea Poon Daddy was from LA. I couldn't tell it from the way he speaks and nothing. But that's even more impressive because those guys came out here with a plan and they executed. And his plan was to get in the music industry too. It wasn't just Chris.
Mike, Griselda got their start down here too. So we're talking about New York and LA coming here to get it cracking in the era where, if you want to get it cracking, Atlanta's a good place to be. And both of those guys both of those teams made their, respective crews take off. A lot of it got started down here. And even if it didn't necessarily take off down here, got inspired by what they saw down here.
I think Poon Daddy went to Clark, Atlanta. I think that was his connection to Atlanta. He came out here for school.
Mike, this has been, I don't think people understand specifically about the city of Atlanta. This has been a core center for where Black people come literally since post-slavery. Like, it's not just like the rap business the last 25 years. Black people been coming here for a multitude of reasons arbitrarily, like literally for over a century, like closer to 125 years. W.E.B. Du Bois and the Souls of Black Folks has a chapter dedicated to Atlanta and people's coming to Atlanta to obtain financial and monetary gain.
Right.
At the cost of their souls. Like, this story is old.
Well, people migrate to places where they can be fiscally fruitful, and with the help of Dr. King, what he was able to do here, and Maynard Jackson being the first Black mayor and actually making the moves that he made for Black contractors and demanding that the busiest airport in the world had a huge percentage of Black-owned contractors. That really made this economy sustain, and those things that man put in place legislatively actually changed the way that Black life economically was in this city and made it different from other cities. I think people look at Atlanta and DC and just think it's just magically great for Black people. No, it were people who actually did things and put things in place to make that happen.
So Mike, I don't want to veer too far off. Like, we're going to get back to it. But when you're speaking to that, you're speaking about things that started coming to fruition from the civil rights movement in the 50s and on to the 60s and then into the 70s, where we progressively did things business wise. That infrastructure was built in the early 1900s with the migrations, with families like the Kings and the Jacksons laying roots here in the early 1900s that preceded, like those moments that you're talking about, they got preceded by people wanting to put roots in Atlanta 50, 60, 70 years prior to that.
And people continue to pass the baton.
Yeah, correct.
And to carry it over to music, to hip hop, and our subject for the night and everything we're talking about, you got the L.A. Reeds and Babyface come together and say, you know what? We want our LaFace office in Atlanta, because Atlanta is once again a place where Black people are doing well, and they got some musical talent there. And then from there,
that's been a play for 125 years. That's a 125-year-old play.
Yeah,
it's not a 25-year-old play. It's a 125-year-old play.
And a group like Outkast, who probably would have not been able to sign to another label that would give them the level of freedom that they had, was right here in their backyard. You know what? That's one of those divine things too.
I don't believe that. I believe if Outkast would have went to New York, they would have got a deal with a Loud Records or a Raucus or something of that nature.
But I don't think they would have been the group that we know them as. I think they would have been the group that was trying to sound like hieroglyphics, and I don't think that they would have had the freedom to grow on the level that they did with LaFace. Because you know what? With LaFace, it was a gift and a curse. It was the fact that, you know what, L.A. Reid wasn't experienced in hip-hop, so he put that on Rico Wade and then was like, you know what, you guys do what you do. If we like it and I hear a hit in here, I'll support it. Whereas Loud Records probably would have been telling them the kind of hip-hop that they were looking for. Whereas they kind of just had that creative license. I don't think the Outkast would have had that creative license anywhere. Because you hear... Southern Playalistic is great, but I don't.
Classic.
Incredible. I love the album. Incredible album. But when you hear Southern Playalistic, you don't hear the group that Outkast became. I think that any other label would have been looking for more of the same.
Mike, we don't know what Outkast became because everything changed from album to album. That is part of their brilliance. They showed the ability to chameleonize themselves on every album. That is part of the brilliance. Southern Playalistic is succinctly different from ATLiens. ATLiens is succinctly different from Aquemini. Two Stankonia. It's the fact that the pieces of work are brilliant and inherently sound brilliant in their own way. Like Southern Playalistic is their street album.
And ATLiens is their boom bap album. And Aquemini is...
ATLiens is what I like to call their rap album or their hip-hop album.
Yeah.
Aquemini is Outkast, and Stankonia is their genre-bending album,
It's crazy, man. I don't feel like Outkast found themselves until Aquemini as a group. And that's crazy to say.
No, you're absolutely right. Like that's why it's like really disappointing that it kind of started like verging off like literally after they made Aquemini. It's like, you sure you don't want to do that 2 or 3 more times?
I feel like Aquemini is the last album they made together. As dope as Stankonia is in points, it feels like it was recorded so separately. I feel like Humble Mumble.
How about this? No. You're wrong about that, because I think Aquemini is when they mastered each other's habits and schedule. Because if you listen to ATLiens, like the actual single, what does Big Boy say? Every day I sit while my nigga be in school, thinking about the second album at the dungeon, shooting pool.
You know, it's funny you say that, man, because, you know, we quote that line all the time whenever the song is on, but that showed you right there that they record separately. They were even recording separately back then.
And so what I'm telling you is that ATLiens actually got recorded separately.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant unto itself.
And you know what's so crazy? They sound the most...
But through the process of making ATLiens, they mastered their processes in terms of how he works and how he works. And that's why Aquemini sounds that way. They understood each other. They were kids when they got put on, dude. So when it's 4 or 5 years later, that they're more grown men now. They're more understanding of what each other's habits and practices are musically.
As brilliant as Aquemini is, it's still amazing to think that they made that album when they were 23 years old. And the fact that you said that, you know, they recorded this stuff separately on ATLiens, it's wild because they sound the most together on ATLiens of any of the albums. Even though I think Aquemini is the best.
No,
you didn't feel like that?
Stop saying that. Like, I hate when people say that. They definitely sound more to... How about this? They sound, on Southern Playalistic, they sound like they live together. On Aquemini, they sound like they worked together for a long time. ATLiens is where they're figuring all that out.
Corey Darby says, what's your favorite Outkast album? Aquemini, hands down.
Yeah. Mike, how about this? There's a reason that Over the Woods has 2 verses from Big Boy. There's a reason that Babylon has 2 verses from Dre. There's a reason that they weren't... Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, Southern Playalistic and Aquemini don't have that. They got West Savannah, which is a throwaway track that Big Boy did by himself during Southern Playalistic. That's what I'm saying. This has been going on for a minute. Why is Big Boy making solo records by himself on the first album?
And, you know, because the story is that Andre was the one that was dedicating everything to music and dropped out. Big Boy was the one that actually finished, and Andre had to go, like, you know, Big Boy said in that verse you just quoted, had to go get his GED after the fact. So with that being the case, how is Big Boy in there with a West Savannah from the first album, and he has songs by himself?
So like I said, they were figuring out how each other worked.
Yeah.
When Big Boy recorded that song, they probably thought to themselves, damn, that needs to go on the album. Then they stopped and was like, but that ain't really how we trying to come. So
I think LA stopped that.
No, I think the camp stopped that.
You think so? Because Tribe is the group that they clearly patterned themselves after. Tribe did that all the time. Tribe would always have like solo Q-Tip songs here. You have a solo Phife song here. And I think that the group thought nothing of it. But
have you ever heard a collective talk about the way that they give material to each other, the way that they do, the way the Dungeon family does when they talk?
No.
So what I'm saying is I think that was more collective for them to come off like the collective that they truly were. And that's why there are no solo records. Like, you don't hear any solo records out of that camp from a group artist until West Savannah, which got recorded 4 or 5 years before, like maybe 93, maybe 94.
Yeah. They were definitely a collective.
Mike, when you go that long without hearing a solo song from group artists, that's a conscious effort.
You know what was also in those Outkast albums was...
Is this an Outkast show now? Totally made this Outkast show.
We're talking about Atlanta, and then we're going to talk about the culture. We're going to get back to, you know, the culture.
I'm about saying, we supposed to talk about Jay. Are we talking about Jay?
Yeah, we could talk about Jay. We'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, but since we're on the Outkast subject, and we really haven't, you know, harped on that too much, and I don't think we've had a real detailed Outkast show like that. But it's interesting that on a lot of those albums, ATLians as well, you have Decatur song, and you'll have songs without Dre.
Whole songs without Andre.
It'll be whole stretches on the album without Dre, because even on the Kumina, you got Slump, where it's Big Boy, Cool Breeze, and Backbone. And then it goes to West Savannah. And then we don't hear Dre for 2 songs pretty much.
Yeah. And think about it. You don't hear him until the second verse on that third song. So you're going about 10 minutes without even hearing Dre on the Aquemini straight.
Yeah. Big Boy gets no credit for that, seems like.
Big Boy don't get no credit. But Big Boy don't get no credit. Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of the things that, you know, that you're alluding to is the fact that, Big Boy was able to kind of hold the group together and be agile enough where he could adjust to, you know, some of the ideas that Dre had going on. And, I mean, he's the ultimate group member. And
but they're the ultimate group. They were the ultimate group. Like Mike, I told you, Gipp is my favorite follow on the gram. But a lot of it is because in him, I can see just how tight that collective truly is, has been, and is always going to be. That's their family, and that shit is not changing. And I think what you see from Big Boy, he's reflective of the things that I see Gipp say on the gram.
Well,
you can go look back at what Gipp says and go look at Big Boy and be like, yeah, that's everything that Gipp is saying. And so it makes sense and it connects itself.
Well, to connect...
Like Gipp posted something one time, and literally it was the entire Dungeon family in the picture. And he was like, everybody's always asking where Dre at. He was like, nobody ever asked who's taking the picture.
Well, that's a good point.
Think about it. It's like, it's probably the guy that doesn't want to be in the picture that takes the picture. Now, who is that in that camp?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's somebody in the camp.
It makes sense. It connects.
Yeah, like, we fans view Dre in a certain way, but they just view him as one of the guys. You know, and I think Dre in some way views himself as one of the guys too. We were talking about Kevin Durant in the barbershop today. Dre is kind of like a Kevin Durant. It's one of the guys, man.
No, no, Dre is somebody that wants to be one of the guys.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant tries to play like he's one of the guys because that's the way basketball is supposed to be played. Kevin Durant knows who he is. You remember that whole Clipper series? Be like, you know who I am, right? I'm Kevin Durant. He's saying like you know that there's only a handful of guys who have ever lived that can even like play basketball like this. Like, stop playing with me. Yeah. Like, Dre's not like that. You'll never hear Dre make any sort of comment like that. So they're not the same. KD is a lot like Larry Bird, Mike. Like, he just believes in playing the game a certain way. Like, Larry Bird could have went and averaged 40 points in a season if he wanted to with that jump shot and with that game. Like, but he didn't because he believed in playing a certain type of way to win. Kevin Durant can go get 40 points whenever he feels like it. Whenever he feels like it. It doesn't matter if LeBron in his prime is guarding him. It doesn't matter.
I mean, he's too skilled.
Doesn't matter if Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But yeah, so
ask Kawhi. Look, ask Kawhi. Ain't Kawhi like the modern day Scottie Pippen? How'd that go before Durant tore his ACL? I believe it was like 5 of 5. All 5 of those shots on you.
Kevin Durant does whatever he wants, man. And you know what? Have you heard? And we'll get back into the subject. Have you heard Charles Barkley tell that story about a young Dirk Nowitzki killing Scottie Pippen like in the World Games or something in some practice? Yeah. You know, I got hella love for Scottie Pippen. I think Scottie Pippen was incredible, but I don't feel like Scottie Pippen would have been able to guard KD. I think that Tayshaun Prince would have had a better chance.
Scottie Pippen is the best on-ball defender I've ever seen, and he doesn't stand a chance of guarding Kevin Durant. Now, what does that say about Kevin Durant?
You know, man, I think Tayshaun Prince would have had a better chance. I've seen Tayshaun Prince lock up Kobe.
Too slow. No, you haven't seen him lock up Kobe. You've seen Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace been behind him so that Kobe can't make certain moves because Kobe's an intelligent and fundamentally sound basketball player. Tayshaun ain't getting no ends on Kobe without Ben Wallace and Rasheed behind him. And I mean, he need Ben Wallace and Rasheed behind him to stop prime Kobe.
What would that team do in this league? I think that they would shut some folks down.
Yeah, they would, but they wouldn't be stopping the Nets. There's nothing you can do about a 7-footer that can pull up from that far that can actually handle the ball.
Nah. So it sounds like you got the Brooklyn Nets winning the championship.
If Kevin Durant is healthy, you can go ahead and hang this shit up.
Really? Okay. All right. Well, yeah. To kind of bring this thing around.
Passing the ball, ain't James Harden passing the ball? James Harden passing the ball? Oh, yeah. You can go ahead and hang this shit up.
You still got a man named LeBron James out there.
Where do you have LeBron all time?
Where do I have LeBron all time? Damn. It's got to be top 3 now.
Yeah, so he's top 3.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else active playing that is top 15 or even arguable top 15 other than Durant?
Other than Durant currently playing that's arguably top 15? No. Where would you say Kevin Durant ranks? Whew. Kevin Durant's top 10. I got to be fair.
I don't know if he's top 10, Mike, but he's probably 11 or 12. And so if you give the guy that's 11 or 12 that probably deserves to be in top 10, a team that's comparable to a guy who's top 3 team, and I know for a fact that guy can outshoot and outscore that guy, and defense gets tight, You take it. I'm going to ask you this one question, and we'll get back to some hip-hop shit. Are you taking Shaq over Kevin Durant? Yes. Okay. But here's what I will say. Like, Kevin Durant is the only person that has played in LeBron's era other than Kobe that can literally nullify what it is that LeBron brings to the table with his array of gifts, which means if the other people around LeBron don't play well and the other guy has a better team, you're in trouble. Well, the other guy has a better team and he's the only guy that can cancel LeBron out. So it doesn't matter what LeBron does. The only guy that can cancel out what he does if he has to play against him, he got Harden and Kyrie. And LeBron's 36 years old, too. So No, I ain't trying to hear all that shit. Like Durant, I ain't trying to hear that. Trying to hear that. But yeah, so we'll bring this back to basically the culture, right? You know, and Atlanta has actually been running hip-hop for... Is it fair to say that Atlanta's been running hip-hop or been the hub that New York used to be for at least 20 years now? If you want to say a hub, yes, because I would argue with you. I feel like TDE had like a little 5-6 year run where really they kind of TDE bought a lot of or Kendrick. No, Mike, TDE. Like, you know how I feel about Q. Stop that.
I like Q. I
Isn't
like
Q
Q a lot.
TDE? Isn't J Rock TDE? Isn't Absol TDE?
I love Absol. You know, he's my favorite personally, but I don't think that he made the
Q is my
splash.
favorite personally, Mike. I was listening to Water with Lil Baby today.
Yeah, man. I like where Absol takes it, man. He is the conspiracy theorist MC, and I think we need more of that. I wonder what with some of the lyrics that I know from Absol, and with the cover that Kendrick Lamar has for "To Pimp a Butterfly," what does Absol think about Kendrick going to the White House, cheesing it up with 44? I wonder. That's I'm sure it's an interesting conversation on a TDE level. But let me ask you this too, man. Why do you think that TDE doesn't get the features on Kendrick albums like that? Because even if we talking about Outkast, man, like all these Outkast records, and we always correlate Outkast and Kendrick, just how things are formulated. Outkast did a great job of making sure the whole Dungeon family was involved in all of these projects, no matter how they sounded, no matter where they aesthetically went. So no one ever felt out of place either.
No, you're right. Like they place people properly, like Cujo on Gasoline Dreams.
Yeah.
Big Gip on We Love These Hoes.
Cool.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Even if we talking about, I love where they placed everybody on the Kuminai, where you throw CeeLo on Liberation, you got Goody Mob on Y'all Scared, you got Mamacita with Witch Doctor, you got Slump with Backbone and Cool Breeze. That's dope.
Hey, Mike, hold on, were you the one that told me that Big Boy wanted Aquemini to start off with Y'all Scared?
Yes. Y'all Scared is actually one of my favorite songs on there. And I understand his thought process on that.
Mike, after that intro, and I don't care what anybody says, that's still one of my favorite intros ever, even though it's very brief.
Yeah.
Like, going into that intro into Y'all Scared is a little bit better than Return of the Gangsta. It is. And I know we're parsing hairs because it's still arguably the best rap album ever. But it's like, they had to start off with Return of the Gangster because of the title of the song. But, yeah.
I think it was man, his name slips me. He was an executive over at LaFace at the time. He said that the reason why the label didn't want to go with Y'all Scared as the first song on the album is because it had Goody Mob on it, and they felt it would be better suited for the first song to feature the group.
That means, you know what that means? That means that the label knows that this group doesn't work together all the time.
Yeah. And you can tell how Big Boy approached his verse on there. That he kind of was looking for this to be the intro. I do think that, when you got Timo starting off the song, it's probably not the best thing to start an Outkast album off with. Now, I could see if one of them had the first verse. It's tough to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Return of the Gangster was a better choice. Although I personally like Y'all Scared better. And I think that
Y'all Scared's a better record.
Yeah. But I think that Andre starting off Return of the Gangster was what they were looking for, and everything that he addressed. He basically addressed everything that people were thinking at the time to start the album. Like, let's get all this out the way. Now listen to the album.
No. And I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't Return of the Gangster one of the weaker songs on Aquemini, actually?
That's crazy.
When you actually look at it, I know it seems funny to say because it's like, it's arguably the greatest rap album ever. But isn't that one of the weaker songs on there? The same way One Time for Your Mind is one of the weaker songs on Illmatic. The same way the Can It Be All So Simple remix is one of the weaker songs on Only Built for Cuban Links. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nasty Boy is one of the weaker songs on Life After Death.
It's crazy, man, because I like Nasty Boy too. Pause. But
shame on you. First of all, shame on you.
Big killed it. I remember we went to Tennessee.
It's just the beat, Mike. It's just so fucking happy. It's like damn near like nigga, why don't you just ask Mariah to sing on the hook? It's got so much glitter on it. It's so fancy. You fancy ass Negro. Like, that's how I feel about that. But the only reason that I even tolerate it is because that nigga is spitting,
man. I remember we
Nobody
went to
does it.
Tennessee.
Nobody snaps on a happy ass beat like Big.
No, then came home. Mad Messages was on my phone. Bitch named
Yeah,
Simone.
no.
Yeah. But it seemed me being the man that I am took it to the
Still
condo.
the worst song on there,
Pronto.
man.
Half Indian, I called a Tonto. Like, yo, this man is crazy. Two
Very
puffs, eyes got
misogynistic.
low, and off to the bedroom we go. Sex,
Like
trauma, head jump, man, come on. Whip pajamas, can't
No,
sleep till tomorrow.
He's snapping, nigga. It's just like nigga, who's expecting confetti to pop out with the beat. It's so happy.
Like I told you, man, even with Hypnotize, I'm not a fan of Hypnotize, but the dude was snapping. I don't think I've ever heard a bad Big verse or an average Big verse.
No, he's got some average verses.
What are the first ones that come to mind? You don't remember and they're so average?
No. I'm siphoning through my mind right now. Right.
Anybody in the chat? We got some bad Big verses.
I didn't say bad.
Okay, average Big verses.
Bad verses. He doesn't have any bad verses. He's got some average ones.
Yeah. Well,
like friend of mine is average.
What did you think about? And I know you're a huge Life After Death fan, and when we celebrated the life of Big.
Mike, I've been a bigger Ready to Die fan literally until about 2 or 3 years ago. I've sworn by Ready to Die. Like I always tell people, it's like I'm a Machine Gun Funk, Everyday Struggle, unbelievable Biggie fan.
Everyday Struggle is my personal favorite Biggie song.
Possibly for me, my downfall in Everyday Struggle, personal.
Yeah, personally, what was the it was in the second verse. His stanza there, man, like his rhyme scheme was just crazy, man. But
I'm
anyway,
on the caravan on my way to Maryland with my man Two Tex to take over these projects. Yeah, they call him Two Tex. He told Two Tex. And when he start the bus, he like to ask who's next. You talking about that one?
Yeah. Heard Tech got murdered in a town I never heard of.
Trick with the crack of our ass. 2 pounds of hash in the stash.
Now, this is the part with like her Tech got murdered in a town I never heard of over nickel. For some bitch named
Alberta over nickel plated burner. I swear to God, my bitch won't switch. I told her when she hit the bricks, I make the hooker rich. Conspiracy, she'll be home in 3. Until then, I looks out for the whole family. A true G, that's me blowing like a bubble.
You can tell that's early Big too. Yeah. What did you think about
Mike, I like the third verse the most, Mike, when he's getting real, talking about it's kind of the crack smoke make my brain feel so strange. Like, I'm like, oh. Like, Mike, I'm 13 years old when I'm hearing that.
Yeah, man. That's that Scarface shit he got in him, man. Like, yeah.
He do. He got that dark side, Mike.
He got that.
I mean, like he's the evil genius. How about this? Like, guys like Beanie and Face and Pac just get dark. Big get dark and witty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you, what did you think about You Been Robbed from Life After Death? Do you think songs like that and I Need Another Baby, you think that ruins the album and the flow?
So here's what I mean, the way Life After Death has grown. When you look at what hip hop has become, and you look at some of those records that maybe guys like me maybe knocked big on when Life After Death came out, when you look at where hip hop has gone, well, you can just see how ahead of his fucking time that he was.
You think that it deserved that perfect rating in the Source when it got 5 mics?
Not when it got it, but if you wanted to give it to it over a course of time, like I don't know if there's a classic album that I think has stayed and grown the way that one has. Yeah. I think it's one of those classics that has gotten better over time because you really see the true genius that is him through that record and the versatility and the diversity. And so the more diverse hip hop becomes, you get to see how truly ahead of his time he was because this is our most versatile guy. So to hear him making these pop records, these singing records, these Vanity 6 sampled records, to hear him doing all of that in 97, it's like, hold on. Like, niggas doing that in 2017 and not as well as Big.
I think that not Life After Death, I think All Eyes on Me was an attempt to do that, even with the What's Your Phone Number? with the Mars Day and the Time sample.
What's your phone number is a shit, Mike.
You like
I
that?
love your phone number. I love when Pac talking shit at the end and all that. That's classic Pac. I love what's your phone number.
Never liked that song. But you
Really?
know, nah. I mean, I like.
The bear sit in the woods and wipe his ass with a rabbit.
I like seven. You know, I like the Morris Day and the Time one, obviously. But you know, I think that kind of set the foundation for what they did with Life After Death. Big just kind of did certain things in that vein a little bit better.
No, Big's a better MC.
Yeah.
Like, but Mike, if we talking versatility, he's a better MC than everybody than that. So even for as versatile as Pac was,
yeah,
because Pac was super versatile, he just wasn't the lyricist that Big was.
Okay, well we got. I think our chat was kind of held up. We're getting a whole bunch of stuff now. But Andre Shashir, shout out to Andre. Shout out to Andre. He said, "What's your phone number?" Was whack. Mark Hentberg said, "Everyday struggle."
First of all, anybody else
man,
come up on here other than Andre and call a Tupac track whack, we're gonna ban you.
No, I'm just saying, man.
Calling Tupac track whack.
Listen, I agree with Andre. I agree with Andre. What's your phone number was whack, man. And I love Pac, man. I love All Eyes on Me.
That's a little pre-jail Pac, like Strictly for My Niggas Pac coming out. Like I'm going yeah. That's part of why I love All Eyes on Me is because it's the full range of Pac. Like that's part of it.
I like You Can't See Me. That shit's hard. And I know it was basically a rehash of What's My Name, but it was hard. It was like hearing Tupac over something that should have been on Doggy Style.
I want to talk to the guest now.
You didn't like You Can't See Me?
No, I mean, I like it. It's just like, I don't like what y'all trying to do with What's Your Phone Number. That was great.
Andre Shashir said the album was dope, though. It was.
Yeah.
And most people would tell you that All Eyes on Me was a better album than Life After Death. What do y'all think of here? Are y'all more of an All Eyes on Me or Life After Death?
I didn't say that. If we talking about the first album, then yeah. That's saying a lot, but yeah. But don't get it twisted. The first volume, The Life After Death, is pretty flawless, Mike. We talking about somebody. Hold on, Mike. What the track listing go? Somebody Gotta Die, Hypnotized, Kicking the Door, Fucking You Tonight, Last Day, I Love the Dough. What's Beef? More Money, More Problems. Niggas Bleed. I Got a Story to Tell.
Andre Shashir says that I got my book from y'all and the post office bent my shit up. No, that's not cool, man.
Hey Dre, real talk. If you send it back, where I don't even want to. Is Dre here in the A?
I don't know what Andre Shashir is, man. Hit us with your information at info@accordingtohiphop.com, and we'll make sure you get one that's tightly wrapped, man. They shouldn't even done it like that.
If you in the A, Dre, like I'll show you how I roll. I'll pull up on you personally.
Yeah. He in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yo, we were just talking about Milwaukee. What's the hip hop scene like in Milwaukee?
We were talking about Cuckoo Cow.
Yeah, we were just talking about Cuckoo Cow actually earlier in the show. But we'll
hold on.
Hit us with the info, man. We'll make sure we get that shit out to you.
Hold on, Dre. When you inbox us about like getting the magazine straight, like talk to us about the Milwaukee rap scene, because we were just actually talking about that. Because I actually just said it's like I probably think that it would behoove most Milwaukee cats to drive to Chicago to make their dreams happen, because it's only 45 minutes away, if I'm not mistaken.
Because we were just talking about the culture, right? And we were talking about the fact that there are people or there are MCs everywhere, but there's only a few cities that get highlighted. So I'm sure there's a lot of markets that got hella MCs that don't see the light of day. I think that's getting better, though. Like you said, with the internet, I think that, you know what I'm saying, people are coming out from everywhere. But it used to have to be where everybody had to attach to something. He said, what's the inbox again? I'm going to go ahead and put the email address in the chat so you can go ahead and go from there. But yeah, man, Mark says that All Eyes on Me was overall better. What would you say to someone who says All Eyes on Me is better than Life After Death?
My Downfall, The Long Kiss Goodnight, You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. That's what I would say. Show me those records on book 2 of All Eyes on Me.
I think that All Eyes on Me
Hold
does.
on, Mike, and keep in mind, I'm not bringing up Notorious Thugs or the 10 Crack Commandments. Show me on Volume 2 where it matches up.
Kick
Volume
in the
1,
door.
if you want to talk about Volume 1 of All Eyes on Me being better than Volume 1 of Life After Death, I can give you that by a hair. But when you get to Volume 2, Mike, we ain't even bring up The World is Filled with Too Short. Mike, that's the best ending ever. 9, 10, 11, 12. The World is Filled, My Downfall, The Long Kiss Goodnight, You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You. Home run, home run, home run, home run.
You know, it's
versatile ass home runs.
yeah.
Like left field, right field, center field. Call my shot at the end. I call my shot at the end. You're nobody till somebody kills you. I'm gonna call my shot on the last one. Like, nah.
I know we talk about Big a lot on this show, and you know, it's March. What is it? March 11th or 12th. You know, the greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. Is what Cannabis say, and we haven't.
Nobody really called him the greatest rapper of all time until Cannabis said that either. People need to know that. I don't ever remember hearing anybody call Biggie the greatest rapper of all time until Cannabis said that.
I think Puffy might have said it a few times, but you know.
So I'm going to reiterate that and say it again.
Well, this is the thing. I do think that, you know, we do need to talk about Big a little bit, you know, since we just celebrated the life of him a couple of days ago. And Big being, I'm sure we said this on the show before, possibly the most skilled MC of all time.
It's not a possible. A Jack of Spades is a possible.
Yeah, he's the versatility of this man and how fluid he sounded on everything. I've never heard Big sound uncomfortable on the record, and I think the sad part about, you know, there's a lot of sad things about his early demise, but to know that he recorded his verse on Victory the night before he passed, that's just devastating, man. You can hear the man getting better.
So now you call me Castro. It's one of my favorite Biggie bars.
I mean, even the Maddie broke the neck of your coat connect. Like, he was getting better and better and better. No? You can hear him getting better on that Shaq record.
Stop that. You know how we feel about You Can't Stop the Rain. Those are ridiculous. That's some of his best shit.
Yes, it is. Watch your entourage turn yours into mirages. Disappearing Act, Strictly Nods and Mac. Kelly Cereal, Copperfield Material.
Told you, Mike, that Get Money remix verse, Frank White, the Desperado. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think we ever seen anybody grow that rapidly either. I mean, because
how about this? There's no other rapper that's gonna make a single like Hypnotize and make a single like Fucking You Tonight and literally on an album be able to swing in a street record like Kicking the Door in between those two records. And you don't say shit.
And then you don't throw What's Beef in there too. Because most people would have been like, okay, What's Beef needs to go on this second disc. Because the second disc was a lot harder than the first one. First one had like a lot more commercial records, with the exception of Nasty Boy on the second disc. But the first one had...
Player Haters on the second one too. No, there's Happy Shit, Sky's the Limit, Player Hater, Nasty Boy.
You thought Sky's the Limit was some happy shit?
It's a little happy. Beats a little happy.
It's Bad Boy though, man. Like, Bad Boy stuff is gonna be happy.
No. So you're gonna take that. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that come with the packaging.
Actually, like I said, man, I actually like Nasty Boy. I like that better than What's Your Phone Number.
There's nothing on Life After Death I don't mind listening to. It's just like, do I really want to listen to Player Hater and Nasty Boy after I heard Crack Commandments and going back to Cali? Not me. I'm not that dude. I'm not that dude. But if you are that dude, I'm not gonna knock you. If you are that dude, no. That's one of the best hip hop remakes ever too.
That's the one I didn't like. I didn't like Going Back to Cali.
Are you serious? Cali got gunplay, models on the runway, scream Biggie, Biggie, give me one more chance. I be ripping on the freeway, the NYC way, on the celly with my homeboy Lance. Class ash from left to right. Only got 5 blunts left tonight. I'm set tonight.
I didn't like the
verse.
fact that Easy Mo
No,
B.
he's snapping on there. He's
He
snapping on
snaps
there.
on
He's snapping on,
everything.
he's
I think
snapping
we
on there more
covered
than he's
that.
snapping on Nasty Boy, and the beat's better, Mike. The nerve of you.
No, he's snapping more on Nasty Boy. But
No, he's not.
I think
No,
we
he's
covered the
not.
fact that he snaps on everything. The thing is,
Or do you want to see about 7 digits? Fuck hoes exquisite. Cali. Great place to visit.
It sounded, first of all, it sounded inauthentic for the fact that
that shit was hard.
Easy Mo B was doing a West Coast beat. And I love Easy Mo B.
I remember niggas on West Boulevard in Charlotte playing Going Back to Cali, like when that shit came out. Like niggas in the hood was like, yo, this nigga Big came with and was spitting. Yeah, no. Mike, I'm not gonna let you have that. Niggas in the hood, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, niggas in the hood wasn't playing Nasty Boy. They was playing Going Back to Cali.
Well,
that shit snapped.
I can believe that. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
That shit slapped, Mike. No. That shit slapped. Yeah, you tripping.
I ain't like the beat. And I love Easy Mo B.
The interlude and shit. Like, don't that sound like Big? Like, waking up, like, after the party, the nigga. All right. 7:45. Hell yeah.
I'll say this. If there's a song, with the inclusion of Player Hater, if there's a song that didn't need to be on the album at I'm taking Going Back to Cali off.
No, Mike.
Unnecessary. We didn't need that record.
They kept it on there because it's a great song, Mike. It's a great performance on the mic. And I love, how about this? And I love the structure of the album, since we're talking about structure.
Uh-huh.
Going Back to Cali might have been originally kept on because you have to have something that's hitting enough to sit next to 10 Crack Commandments. Because when that beat hits, Mike, there's nothing beat-wise on this 2, on Volume 2 of Life After Death,
right, that
knocks the way the 10 Crack Commandments does, except for Going Back to Cali. I'm talking about where
the drums,
you're like, oh my,
yeah,
you like. So it's structured a certain way. That's what I mean. It's like I can appreciate that album differently than I could in 97 or 2000, even 2005. I'm like, oh, Going Back to Cali is there because it makes the 10 Crack Commandments work, because the 10 Crack Commandments really don't work anywhere else.
Well, I wish we could have got more of...
That shit need to be on there.
10
Crack Commandments is going on.
I think that Easy Mo B was put in a position where he was asked to make a West Coast type of beat, and it came across like that's what he was trying to do, and it sounded inauthentic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just didn't. It didn't sound natural for them. And I love Easy Mo B, man, and I think he did some great work with Big. I actually think he's an unsung hero when it comes to Big and his career, even though my favorite beat from him is a Busta Rhymes track. But
Going Back to Cali, stick strictly for the weed,
women,
sticky green,
yeah,
no seat, bitch, please, ain't no love lost.
Yeah. Man,
like, come on, Mike, he's spitting. How you gonna say he's spitting on Nasty Boy but not spitting on Going Back to Cali?
I just spit you the verse for Nasty Boy that I remember we went to Tennessee, then came home. Mad Messages was on my phone.
I want to talk to the
Andre Shashir said I thought he did good work with Craig Mack too. He did, man. That Flavor in Your Ear beat, and when I said what I said about the Busta Rhymes song, I thought about Craig Mack. I was like, shit, he did do Flavor in Your Ear.
I love Machine Gun Funk, Mike. I still love Machine Gun Funk.
Machine Gun Funk's dope. No.
That's the record that made me a fan.
Warning's dope. Didn't he do the what too? Sounds like him.
Yes, Easy Mo B did the what. Easy Mo B did like 11 tracks on Ready to Die, if not more.
Incredible, man.
I think Chucky Thompson did Ready to Die.
Yeah.
And Suicidal Thoughts.
What did he do on Me Against the World? He did Temptations, right?
Yeah, Mo B did Temptations.
Yeah, and Mo B, man, yeah.
Yeah, that's around the same time, though.
Temptations is one of my favorites, too, from Mo B.
Temptations is one of my favorite Pac songs, Mike.
Yeah, that shit great.
That's real Pac right there.
Yeah. That's Tupac in its full essence. But the Busta Rhymes record, shit, it comes on right before Woo Ha. On Time. So I make sure everything remains raw. That's my
Easy Mo beat?
Yeah, that shit crazy.
Oh, that's his best beat, Mike. That's my favorite Busta Rhymes
see,
song.
I
That's
told you.
Oh, Easy Mo B made Everything Remains Raw?
Yeah, man, that shit crazy.
That's his best beat.
Yeah,
That's his best beat.
Yeah.
That shit hard, Mike.
That shit hard.
I remember when my cousin picked me up in the 280Z that had the 210s in the box, and he played Busta Rhymes album. He was a big Busta Redman fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how Cuz got down. Man, that shit came
that
on.
Shit crazy.
It was like, oh my God. Like, nigga.
And you know, as much as
I still remember how that felt when I heard that beat.
Yo, and you know, as much as I love the Woo Ha song and video, I really hate it when they switched to Woo Ha in that video when Busta's in the car, run up on your spot like my name was search warrants. Shut your mouth, nigga. Don't you complain. Insane to your brain.
Right.
Under your subconscious, I leave my shit
stain. I be the most like, I need chemosis. I'm stepping over. Yeah. That's it.
Sick lyrics like multiple sclerosis.
Focus while I display flows ferocious. Shut your mouth, nigga. Don't you complain. Yeah, that nigga. One of my favorite
lyrics
rap
like
records,
I'm
Mike.
hand-to-hand herb hustling, hardcore like quick draw McQuarrie. Fuck what you heard, you ain't heard this before.
That was the part, Mike. Fuck what you heard, you ain't heard this before. And we were like,
Never.
No, nigga, we haven't heard this before.
Speaking of
we
which,
ain't heard nobody come like this before.
You know what I was listening to the other day, man?
That's
and I know we all
best song to me. Mike, you know that's still his best song to me.
I ain't mad at that. It's one of my favorites. That whole, yeah.
He snapped. Ooh.
And like you said, man.
I'm playing that when this show is over. I haven't heard that in a long
That
time.
Shit is hard, man. Busta Rhymes is different, man. And you know what? While we're all over the map with this, man, I was listening.
We've been everywhere.
I was listening to Old Dirty's, the dirty version the other day, man.
I saw your post.
And it's easily.
Third favorite solo album? Not third favorite.
It's 3 for me. I love Liquid Swords. I respect Liquid Swords and all that. Jizza's a genius.
Exactly
but I would much rather listen to the dirty version. I was entertained the whole time. I didn't skip anything. Anything.
How about this, Mike? You were judging the show over the performance if you were picking the dirty version over Liquid Swords, and that's all I have to say.
I would much rather, if you ask me which one I'd rather listen to.
First of all, Old Dirty Bastard is more entertaining than any rapper who ever lived.
Yeah. Rawhide was my shit too, Mark.
Like Busta Rhymes is the only person that it's even a conversation with, correct?
Yeah.
Like Busta just not like inherently like psychologically like I don't want to say crazy, just issues, Mike. We're gonna say the dirty head issues. But what I'm saying
is that how you want to address it?
Mike, nobody in clear conscience that knows what they know about hip hop the way that you do. I'm giving you your flowers a day, the way that you know hip hop the way that you do. There is no way in clear conscience, Mike, that you are about to go listen to the Return to the 36 Chambers and then go listen to Liquid Swords and tell me that you'd rather listen to the dirty version. Liquid Swords, Mike. Liquid Swords, Mike.
I love Liquid Swords. You know that.
Liquid Swords is arguably better than anything Ghost has ever made. It's arguably the second best solo album out the camp. It's the only album that can even appropriately follow up the Purple Tape at that camp because it's the only project that's quality and hard and lyrically sharp from beginning to end to even follow up the Purple Tape.
No, I agree.
The nerve you to sit up there and bring up the dirty version. We don't even count the dirty version as a classic, Mike.
It's a classic to me. I understand everything you're saying. I understand everything you're saying. But Shimmy Shimmy, Brooklyn Zoo, you said it yourself. Brooklyn Zoo is probably the most complete
Brooklyn
solo
Zoo is the best rap single released by a solo artist out of the Wu-Tang Clan, and that includes Incarcerated Scarfaces and Bring the Pain.
I listen to Brooklyn Zoo.
It's the best solo Wu rap performance ever. Old Dirty Bastard on Brooklyn Zoo. Yes.
Method Man's verse on Rawhide was crazy too. Method Man was dropping all kind of science.
Wicked women putting period, blood, and stew. Don't they call that shit witches brew? I remember
feel
that.
for that 85 that don't.
Yo, you know that was a freestyle. I found out that was a freestyle. Ray and like Ray and Meth and them, that was a freestyle. They freestyled those verses.
Ray's shit definitely sounds like a freestyle.
Ray shit hard on there.
No, it's hard. He sounded like he was catching up. Like He sounded like, yo,
that's the
how do I
best-
fit
like,
in this
that-
madness?
Like, my favorite Wu-Tang pairing is those three guys.
Is it?
That's the guys, yes, because you're going to get the abstract, you're going to get the streets, and you're going to get the rhymes. Like, Meth is the flow, Ray is the streets, Dirty's the abstract. It's like the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Mike, Shame on a Nigga is the most entertaining track on Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
I definitely feel like Raekwon's the glue guy. So he goes well
they're
with
the entertainers. Those are the three most entertaining guys in the Wu-Tang Clan. When I mean entertaining,
I think Ghost is more entertaining than Ray.
No, I said lyrically. You gotta like read Ghost shit and listen to Ghost shit 15 times.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Okay,
that's not entertaining. I
think Old Dirty and Method Man, man, they're an incredible pairing. But
they're the stars. They're the stars.
Definitely. My favorite pairing is definitely
Ghost are the MCs, but Meth is an MC too. That's why Meth is so dangerous. Meth is a star and an MC, man. I want to hear a classic rap album.
My favorite pairing from those guys is definitely Meth, Ray, and Ghost. You know what? No, it's not. I apologize. My favorite pairing in the Wu-Tang is Ray, Ghost, and Kappa. That's my favorite pairing, hands down.
They've done the most work. You want to know what I love, though? You want to know what one of my favorite Wu-Tang songs is? Ice Water.
Ice Water's another one.
Ice Water, Mike. They went ape shit on Ice Water, Mike.
I'm telling you, that Ray, Ghost, and Kappa pairing is untouchable. Now, I don't think that they found a third person in that Old Dirty Method Man pairing that fits as well. But Ray's always involved. He's in all the pairings.
He's raised in all the pairings because he's the glue guy.
Yeah.
It's like Jizza need a verse, got that. Meth need a verse, got that. Go. Who need what? Ray.
It's like,
that's
Creed.
why I love Ray so much, Mike. So listen to what you're saying about Ray.
So it's like
Ray so high. When you like, you got Ray high. It's like, nigga, that nigga Ray special.
Yeah, he's a glue guy. I mean, you got Ray, Deck, and Meth.
Hold on, is he the glue? Hold on, so Mike, he's the glue guy on the best crop of lyricists that ever formed in a group ever. He made the best solo rap album that came out of the camp. He's the co-writer on the guy who made the best album. Like, Ray.
He's got to be very high.
Got Ray, like, if Ray not in your top 20, like, where you been? Like, Mike, I may have him at like 9, but it's like if you don't have Ray in your top 20, you haven't been paying attention.
I think that for a lot of people, critics will say that.
I don't give a fuck what a critic say. Fuck a rap critic. He talk about it while I live it.
You know what, man? I think that some people will feel like that Ray, him being a glue guy and such an incredible glue guy and such an incredible group, that he hasn't proven that he can hold his own as much as some of the other members. I think that Ghost, Meth, and Dirty have proven that they hold their own a little bit more than Ray.
No, they haven't.
Okay. I mean, I'm just telling you what I've heard people say. I don't particularly agree with this opinion.
Name Ghostface's classic albums to you.
Supreme Clientele. Iron Man.
Right.
Those are it.
Okay. So Ray is all over Iron Man, including having a solo record on Iron Man, The Faster Blade, track 3.
He's the best rapper on Iron Man. He's the better rapper of the two on Iron Man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the lead single to Supreme Clientele is with Raekwon.
Apollo Kids, yeah.
Right. Like,
I don't think that, in all fairness,
he's an integral piece to everything that they do.
Oh, of course. In my opinion, though, I don't think Apollo Kids is one of the stronger records on Supreme Clientele, even though Ghostface murdered it.
No, they murdered it too. They both murdered it. Hold on. Do you think it's better than Nutmeg with RZA?
It's not.
No?
Mm-mm.
Do you think that it's better than We Made It or Malcolm?
Woo, it's not better than We Made It. It's better than Malcolm.
Okay.
It's not better than We Made It.
We Made
Make me
It's
want
my
to
shit,
pop
right?
something. No champagne. 2 5s on me. Weed and cracks on me.
Crack on.
Bitch motherfucker trying to get a rap on me.
Shit, Mike. We made it might be my favorite track on Supreme Clientele.
Man, it's up there. My favorite tracks on Supreme Clientele. Now we talking. You could really talk about this. I would say Ghost Dini. It's one of my favorites. Obviously,
no, you're wrong.
Mighty
Apollo
Healthy.
Kids is better than Ghost Dini.
Huh?
Apollo Kids is better than Ghost Dini. Mike.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
no,
it is.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Like, Ghost Dini is one of the weakest records on Supreme Clientele.
No,
See, this is why Supreme Clientele
not.
is a classic, because we're arguing about Ghost Dini and Apollo Kids, but Apollo Kids is better.
No. Ghost Dini's a crazy record. Mighty Healthy. We made this right there.
Mighty Healthy is an old record. That's a throwaway.
It is. And,
Mighty Healthy was old.
But he brought it back with new verses, though, right?
You think Mighty Healthy better than Apollo Kids?
Oh, definitely. Both hands crusty. Chilling with my man Rusty, low down.
Mike, hold on. You don't think much of Apollo Kids, because I didn't bring up Wu Banger 101. I didn't bring up Buck 50. I didn't bring up One. One might be the best track on Supreme Clientele. To a lot of people, One by Juju from the Beatnuts.
Shout out to Juju. Juju's a
RZA
genius.
cooked the beat up and engineered it. Like, One might be the best record.
I love One.
Supreme Clientele.
I really wish they would actually release the video for
One should have been the first single, actually, to me.
Crash Through, Break the Glass, Tony with the Goldie mask.
Yeah.
Heavy ice rolling in on the trash. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Hurting when I don't
damn Ghost, you the only nigga I know. Like, when the cops come, you never hide your toast.
Get started bashing. See, you know what? That was the record that I heard. I was riding in Ron's car.
That's what I heard. I heard One, and I was
when I heard One, I was like, I gotta go get this album.
Because Mike, didn't One sound like some Wu-Tang shit? Even though Juju from the Beatnuts did it, didn't it sound like some Wu-Tang shit? You was like, that's some Wu-Tang shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember when I heard One.
Smash on the hall, y'all, and grow up. Woo! Yeah, One and Uptown Saturday Night was dope. Ghost Dini.
You can't think Uptown Saturday Night is better than Apollo Kids.
It's not better than Apollo Kids. No.
Okay.
It's not.
You think Apollo Kids is one of the weakest records on Supreme Clientele?
Yeah, I even like, Do You Wanna See? Do You Wanna See? I Can't Get... Nah, that's not better than Apollo Kids. But I love that record, though.
You need to stop that, though.
Because of you, I'm hurting.
That was disrespectful.
Within my heart, Anyway, the
we
dirty
didn't
verse.
even I want to let you know, we didn't get the J in title. Like, we talked plenty about Swiss and Timberland and what they not doing for the culture. We ain't talk about your boy.
Okay, well let's talk about title, and let's talk about what that was supposed to mean to the culture. Because again, I think we kind of glossed over the fact that initially
a lot of niggas out here off sides, Mike. And this is what I mean about when you idolatrize these guys. Like, when you treat these guys like idols, like they're God, like they're above reproach. And then you can't be surprised that these guys are acting like they're above reproach. Like, we put them in that position.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is,
I'm telling you about, like, it's like, yeah, but that nigga's still just another nigga at the end of the day. So,
well, I think the thing is,
you just be coming off, they be like, oh, no, like, you hating. It's like, no, nigga, I ain't hating. I see clearly.
Yeah.
See clearly now? Look, you see clearly now? Look how quick they sold them souls.
Well, the thing is, man, when you talk about, I guess when we talk about doing things for the culture and being able to support something that is of the culture, the idea is let's do that so that it could create jobs for people within the culture who are clearly deprived, right? And when you look at a company like TIDAL, and that was one of the first critiques early when Jay acquired the company, is when you look at the staff, it didn't look like the hip-hop culture had, it didn't look like they provided jobs to the hip-hop culture in the coding sphere. Not even just the coding sphere, because honestly, that's not all the jobs that are at these places. I mean, listen, man, no offense to anything or anybody, but the shit, it was nothing but white people. There were no black jobs in there, and this is something that we were sold on something else. Because the people who were going to galvanize around the idea of TIDAL and the people who we saw that were the faces of TIDAL were clearly black people, right? And people who are of the hip-hop culture. And it didn't seem like Tidal had initially even given credence to making sure that those people were in executive positions like a Bob Johnson did at BET, or like even if you talk about Michael Jordan and what he's done in Jordan Brand, where you have more black executives than anybody.
So let's stop for a second right there when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I mean about how you look to the wrong guys. Think about all the flack that Michael Jordan has caught. Think about all the flack that Bob Johnson has caught.
Yeah.
Like, they've actually done more quietly and silently, institutionally, to try to change things than these guys who everybody's following that goes in broadcasting. Like, in real talk, and I'm going to say it just like this. Them as black men, like all three of them, on whatever level they are involved, they should be ashamed of themselves. As black men, they should be ashamed of themselves for perpetuating this archetype like they're really providing something that they inherently know that they are not providing.
What three are you talking about? You talking about
Jay-Z, Timberland, Swiss Beats.
I agree.
Like, you should be ashamed. No. As a black man, I don't care what you are and what your money look like. As a black man that has come out here on multiple times, and I'm talking about the three of them, talking about what they do for the culture and what they mean for the culture. It's like, no, nigga, you don't mean shit to the culture. You're business for profit. Mm-hmm. Come out here and say that you're business for profit and be a man about this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
don't
be no
people
hoe about
into
it.
supporting.
No, for real, Mike. Don't be no hoe about it. Like, you got enough money and power to not be a hoe about it. So when I'm hearing Swiss talking the way he's talking, it's like, nigga, you sitting on a few $100 million and you talking that way, stand the fuck up and be a man. Stand the fuck up and be a man and be like, hey, this is how the music business works.
Yeah.
And in order for us to do this, we have to do this and do that. Now, we haven't forgot about y'all, but this is the game that we're playing. Don't hit me with that bullshit talking about wait and let me see.
Yeah, like, and they want to act like they're breaking the cycle.
We waited 10 years for you to learn how to play instruments right. It wasn't until you got who you was with now that your beat sounded musically synchronized. We waited on you, nigga. Wait on us. Stop fucking selling out.
You know,
wait on us to fucking come and put the money in your pocket.
You know, it was I don't niggas. I didn't like the fact that it was one of those things where it was like, you know what? Wait, first of all, and on top of that, you want to sit here and act like this is something that it's not. And
niggas weak.
That's the problem. You know what? I don't know if you've been following that whole news or whatever with, you know, Patrick Ewing and, you know, the New York Knicks and James Dolan and all that shit. Well, I saw Spike Lee.
I caught a couple of blurbs.
Yeah. Well, I saw Spike Lee on
today, but I didn't catch it.
I think Spike Lee was on First Take or whatever, basically complaining about it.
Yeah.
And Max Kellerman basically was like, "Look, man, the owner dissed you, Charles Oakley, and now Patrick Ewing. What's it gonna take? Why are you still supporting this?" And this is what no ownership looks like. And at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want, but
did you say that? Say that again. This is what no ownership looks like.
This is what no ownership looks like. And at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want to say about Michael, Jeffrey Jordan, and Bob Johnson, but Michael Jordan's the only owner, only black owner in pro sports and all of the sports. And you know how he got that team? Because Bob Johnson went to Charlotte,
sold him.
And sold it to him. It took Bob Johnson to sell Michael Jordan now, the greatest basketball player ever, the basketball player that put the NBA on the financial economic map. It took him.
No. Let's scale it back, Mike. He is the greatest athlete in the modern era.
Yeah.
And the biggest icon of the modern era.
Period. Nobody else was selling Michael Jordan no team. They weren't offering him any level of ownership, and not to mention he got the bread. So it took Bob Johnson to do that.
Mike, listen to what you were saying. Here's what people have to understand. These motherfuckers didn't want to sell Michael Jordan a team.
No, exactly. And they don't want to let Patrick Ewing in the front door.
And so understand what you're doing when you create something and say that you're doing it for the culture.
and then you sell it.
And then you sell it off before it even matriculates towards its real value.
And everybody along with it.
And listen to what I'm saying with this. That means you don't value this community the way that you say, and that's what makes you a weak ass nigga today. Understand that. You talk about your community, you talk about the culture, you talk like you value your community, but as soon as somebody will come around and put the appropriate dollars in your pocket, you'll stop trusting your culture in a minute. You ain't from the culture. You the next thing to a culture vulture. I might as well put you right next to Bruno and Taylor Swift.
Bruno and Taylor Swift. You know what?
Yeah, I said it. And my daughter liked Bruno, and I told her ass the other week. I was like, you still watching that culture vulture, huh? This shit gangster over here when I'm spitting.
But you know what? You're right. It's culture hustling, man. That's what, you know what? If they're not vultures, they're culture hustlers. They'll sit there and sell everybody on the concept of culture. This is community. This is that. That's like if I were to actually pull everybody together and say, look, this is community. We all need to pull together to do this for the community. And then I go to the next town over and be like, look, man, I got all these people. What you going to give me for them? And their support. It's sad. And you know, and again, I'll say this about the title thing. Your man Prince believed in Jay so much and what they were doing with Tidal that he didn't have his music on any platform, and he signed an exclusive situation with just Tidal, and that was the only place you could actually hear Prince's music. I wonder what he would actually think of his music or this platform that was meant to be a hub for artists being sold to Jack Dorsey for a seat at the table.
Mike, there'd be gang signs. There'd be gang signs, Mike, and they'd all be purple. Be gang signs, they'd all be purple. He would not have this shit. Like, when I was... what I've been doing, actually, for the first time, is I've actually been going back and watching other podcasts. And so I watched the Nas Drink Champs podcast. Mm-hmm. And so they asked Nas when he's ever been turned down for a feature. Mm-hmm. This nigga funny. He ain't never been turned down for a feature. He's literally sitting at the table trying to think. And I'm thinking to myself, too, like, yeah, who the fuck is turning down Nas? Like, and he was like, oh, I got it. He was like, Prince. He was like, Prince came to the I Am album release party. And in the way even Nas framed it, he didn't want to say it, like, nigga was bent, rolled up on Prince. Like, let's do some work together. The nigga Prince looked at him and asked him, do you own your masters?
Yeah.
Even Nas said it. This is 98 when I Am is dropping, like March or April of 98. Nas even said it then. He was like, it fucked my whole head up.
Yeah.
When he asked me that. And pretty much Prince told him, like, until you own your shit, I won't be doing shit with you.
And that makes sense.
And so if he's saying that to Nas in 98 at an album release party, when Nas is like literally at his peak and selling the most records, which means if there's any time that it behooves Prince, because it ain't like Prince is popping in 98, and this is the biggest Prince fan ever saying this, it ain't like Prince popping in 98, might actually behoove you to do a song with Nas.
He didn't have
in 98. He ain't having it about the business, and he doesn't, even for the wealth that he amassed and accumulated, he still doesn't have Jay type of money. So how do you think he would take it? You know he wouldn't take that shit kind, and that's all you really need to know about what these niggas is not. That's why these niggas need to be ashamed of themselves today, because you guys got guys like Prince that would literally step to these niggas' face and tell them what it was really about. So to have these dudes making these plays like there wasn't somebody Prince available that would tell you what it was, and like Mike, that ain't the only publishing story floating out there about Prince. Like Mike, there's countless ones of people who done met Prince and been like, nigga talking about masters and ownership and how these white people is running shit and how we need, like, know how I feel about why he ain't here, Mike, and it ain't got shit to do with his hip.
Listen, this is what I will ask you.
Shit to do with that man hip.
This is what I will ask you. You know how meticulous Prince was about everything, and you know how much he valued the ownership of music. The fact that he believed in Tidal and the direction that much, where he said, you know what, this is the only streaming platform my music is going to be on. What do you think Jay-Z said to him in those meetings? And do you think anything that he said to Prince to convince him to get his incredible catalog on this one platform, do you think any of that stuff is still aligned with what just happened?
If anybody in the history of hip hop is a good enough talker and businessman to get somebody like Prince to believe in them, it is Jay. But the only thing I have to say to that is beware of false prophets.
Well, I mean, this had to be something that was about artists.
Beware of false prophets, and that's all I have to say to that. Because you can't tell me, Mike, and you're not the Prince fan that I am, but you're still a Prince fan. You can't tell me he would be okay with this.
No.
You can't tell me he would be okay with this.
No.
Right.
You basically,
so these niggas should be ashamed of themselves. Very shameful.
It's very shameful. In that sense.
It's very shameful. Like it's very shameful what they're doing, because these are dudes that are already worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're still doing this coon ass, fuck ass shit. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. It's
I don't respect it. Like the nigga Swiss couldn't even play keys right till he got with Alicia Keys. Like the nerve of this nigga. Yeah, I said it.
Well, hopefully, I don't know, man.
I said that shit. Cause that shit real. That's what niggas really be saying. Be like, yo, the niggas beats really didn't get fired till he got with her. Right. But anyway.
I mean, and that's the other thing too. And I think we talked about this offline. Like, really, what's the last hit that, Tim and Swiss had like that? People aren't really flocking to them.
Was not the shit with Echo and Pistol on My Side. The shit with Jim Jones. No, Swiss' last album was hot. I also heard how Alicia Keys' house influenced him as a
his last album was hot. Echo was dope. Music. Echo didn't really sound like
Echo might have been the best rap song that year, Mike.
Yeah, that was like what, 17 or something, 18.
17. Echo might have been the best rap song that year, and I'm not saying that as a Nas fan. I'm saying that as in like the way they put that record together.
Echo was incredible, and it didn't sound like a Swiss track.
It was easily one of the 5 best records that year.
And I love the Wayne record too. You're right.
Pistol on My Side, Pistol on My Side was up
that's
there.
Him as an artist. But as far as like people flocking to go out there and get them a Swiss track, we don't really see that a lot, and especially in the younger generation. So Versus was kind of a resurgence for them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just feels like everyone was being used in that light, and it's hard for me to believe too that 43 black creatives got positions at Trilla off of this, but whatever.
No, I believe that, Mike. I do believe that, but that's why I brought to you. It's like when you saying that. See, here's what I mean about how like a motherfucker try to manipulate it. Like never try to hustle no hustler. Like
you can't say something is what it isn't. That's not.
No. When you talk about 43 creatives, it's like nigga. So what? I know hundreds of niggas in Atlanta that could be creative for your team. Hundreds. Like, fuck what you talking about. Like, but you perpetuate that shit to somebody that doesn't have the people around them that you and I have, or hasn't been around the people or been around the things or seen the things that we have. And it's easy to get somebody to believe that. That's why I don't like it. It's like, man, fuck you and your 43 creatives, nigga. I can call 43 niggas right now that can do everything the people that you talking about is talking about. So the fuck what?
Yeah.
Stop kicking that shit like you doing big shit that ain't that big. Niggas like you and me got that kind of pull to get motherfuckers to make those kind of moves. Like, nigga, you ain't doing big shit.
I think before we get out of here, though,
like you doing big shit.
I think before we get out of here, though, it's like the thing is, man, don't make it seem like individual moves that are beneficial for individuals are moving the culture forward. And again, I've spoken highly of Bob Johnson, and I think he did incredible things with BET. Because BET honestly provided a lot of platforms for the Jay-Z's of the world and the Diddy's of the world and launched their careers to get them to where they are. But at the same time, him selling BET wasn't a quote-unquote win for the culture, and he never tried to position it like that. That was a win for him and the hard work that he had done for 20 years.
Hold on, Melissa, to what you're saying. I personally
part of it was though because he allowed he became the first black owner in the NBA, so that could be because of that he was able to do that.
So let's unpack all of this right quick about Bob Johnson. First of all, it's not what you do; it's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
He kicked the shit like I built this. I'm older. It's time for somebody younger and fresher with fresher eyes to take the game from me.
Yeah.
It also coincided with a move to move into a different sphere and buy a professional team. So I'm pretty sure the pending sale happened because they were asking for more equity than he already had, which is what they tend to ask of black people in business. He probably sold BET about what they were asking for so he could acquire the NBA team, but it was also his time.
Mm-hmm.
But he kicked that shit like that and didn't lie to us.
Yep.
So when he sold it, we were okay with him selling it because it ain't like he gave us some fraudulent bullshit ass excuse.
Yeah, it's talking about this is a move that you're not understanding right now. But you're gonna understand somewhere down the line.
Understand how the real move and understand how the weak move.
Yeah.
So look at how Bob Johnson played it and look at what these motherfuckers telling us now.
Yeah.
Are you telling me who real?
And he was able.
What's the song go? Who real?
Yeah, that's
Who's
how it
fake?
go.
Right, nigga. Yeah.
And he was able to make Michael Jordan the first black owner in sports in the process.
You telling me he put the big boy nepotism in play after he made the move too?
It's beautiful.
Who the G?
It's beautiful.
Who the G? So what we need to do is stop criticizing Bob Johnson and Michael Jordan and maybe start looking at Jay-Z, Swiss Beats, and Timbaland. You might have this shit misappropriated just because a nigga from Brooklyn or a nigga from where that don't mean shit.
I mean,
it's about what you do.
We've seen throughout how, certain people have been used to get certain people to that next level. I mean, we were talking about what's his name's podcast, Oskino.
Mike, the tree is supposed to bear fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What fruit you see bearing off J Tree? What fruit you see bearing off Swiss Tree? What fruit you see bearing off Timbaland's tree? Where's the fruit?
Yeah. No, you're right.
How Beanie Siegel doing right now, Mike?
Yeah.
Where Dame at? Where Dame at? What?
Doing his own thing.
Biggs, what? You want me to keep going?
Doing his own thing too.
Saying? Right. Where
but I think people view this as like, okay, people feel
look, Swiss bought X in for verses like you doing that nigga a favor. Like you owe that nigga. You ain't even nobody without fucking Rough Riders Anthem. You nobody without Rough Riders Anthem. You better put that nigga in verses.
I will give it to Swiss though.
You better put that nigga in verses. Never overstate yourself in the game.
I will give it to Swiss though. He has continuously made sure that DMX stays in the consciousness. And
he better do that shit because his claim to fame came on DMX's shit.
Yeah, no,
because that's one of the weaker beats on there too, Mike.
I think that Rough Riders Anthem is one of the weaker beats on there, and honestly, as great as Dark and Hell is Hot is, I think that the rest of those songs or production
it's the change up, Mike.
Carried it.
It's the change up, Mike.
Yeah.
Do people play that now, or do they play Get At Me Dog, or what's going down?
No, you're right.
Being greedy.
You're right. Like
fucking with Damien.
Honestly, man, I think that album would have been what it was without Rough Riders Anthem.
Yeah, you can take Mike, you take Rough Riders Anthem off of this Dark and Hell is Hot, it's still one of the 20 best rap albums ever.
And I think it still would have had its hit too.
Mike, that didn't change nothing. Mike, How It's Going Down is still coming out.
Yeah.
Right. So he's still gonna get that mainstream love. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess to wrap all of this up, we will see what this first Trilla offering from Versus is going to be with the Ray and Ghost. I'm going to check it out. I think that's March 20th. But I just hope we don't get to a point where, because Trilla is a pay-per-view platform, right? I hope we don't get to the point
very problematic that they're starting off with Ray and Ghost. The nerve of these niggas.
Yeah. I hope we don't get to the point where people are going to have to pay for these verses.
That's what I'm saying, Mike.
And it feels like that's where it's going.
Like, hey, Mike, when I was watching the D'Angelo concert, I was like, I know people that pay $20 to watch this.
Yeah.
We got a problem. You're not for the culture. You're for profit. Say you're for profit. Say you're a businessman. I have no problem with a businessman saying he's a businessman. They don't want to say that they're businessmen because they know that they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And so if they say that, it's going to come off a certain way and people aren't going to follow the way that they should. Well, then maybe you're not the motherfucker that needs to be doing it and you need to fall back.
I think the problematic part of it is the fact that individual artists can do these things on their own. And if you're about artists, you should be about that empowerment of them doing those things. Like when Bone and 3-6 tried to do their own version of this, you call Bone or you call Crazy and tell him, do this the right way. What does that even mean? And why
Mike,
are
you
you
said that when it happened. You was like, what does the right way mean?
like, why are you even out here stunting the growth of artists who are trying to do things independently without your system? And then you sit there and quote unquote sell this system this ecosystem that you basically ask everybody to be involved in. If this is about the artist, empower the artist to go out there and do these things on their own and then promote that. You're a concert promoter. Is that what this is?
So the way that the shit works is that, like, you know, the puppet gets fed the information from the boss, and the job of the puppet is to get people to buy in to the system so they can insert the chip into you and get you normalized. But what is normal? And where is your normalization coming from? And these are the things that we have to question now. See, now we have to question all of your moves. Now we have to question your integrity. Now we have to look at you. Now certain things that we were letting bypass, like how are you playing all of this music for hours at a time that you don't own? It's not like you and Timbaland produced everything in the universe. It's not like I'm hearing fucking Justin Timberlake or DMX every week. So what game are you playing exactly? Don't be no fuckboy about
Especially with that Babyface catalog, right, man? Babyface is playing stuff that's all over the map. You have
Babyface playing the whole 80s and 90s R&B section of a fucking record store in 1997.
In my opinion, you know, I think it's disrespectful to Babyface and his legacy that they went out here and made these deals off of the backs of his work. He had no idea that they had something brewing like this. He was out there just trying to have fun with them. You know what I'm saying? And you out here cutting deals.
Because everybody thought it was for the culture. How unfortunate.
Right. He thought they were doing this for people who were, you know, sitting at home on lockdown, you know, because of the pandemic. And he's like,
all
you know what?
These guys are thinking we just need to get ready for when the pandemic is over. So we can start charging 5, 10, 15, 20.
And then they might end up doing a versus tour,
it's going to start off as a streaming service that you can get for $4.99, but then it's slowly going to rise. But then the streaming service number is going to change depending on what artist it is. It's like if they get Stevie, nigga, you paying $100.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
good show. Fuck these niggas.
Great show. But yeah, next week hopefully we get some music, man. And it's always great to hear new music.
I hope these dudes see this shit too.
Yeah,
like I want you to know I'm one of them dudes. Like I hope you see me talking about you. Like I ain't hiding or none of that shit. Like I hope this shit get to them and you hear me and you feel me with this fuck ass shit that you doing talking about you for our culture.
Yeah, man. You know, selling out used to be a bad thing, but I guess it's just the way.
No, all I'm saying is that like call a sellout a sellout. Like all I'm saying is that like, you know, if you a sellout, like, you know, be that. Like it's cool. What I tell you behind the scenes, Mike, like Mike, we have a yearbook that we're selling right now. But what did I tell you, Mike? It's like what we doing. Oh, nice plug, Mike. What we doing, the fact that we're doing it the right way, I already feel successful, nigga.
I've never seen a business without a product. You know what I mean?
You get what I'm saying? I don't need to go and say that we doing it for the culture, nigga, because we really are. Like, nigga, I got to hand you some money because somebody bought one of our editor's copies off me live today when I went to lunch with my fam. He was like, yeah, he said, go ahead and leave that in the back seat, Coop, because I'm copping that.
That's what's up. No, I mean, you know.
You feel me?
Good.
He's like, go ahead and leave that in the back seat and copping that off you.
That's
I'm like,
up.
okay. I'm like, I got to shoot half of that money to Mike. He like, that's a bet. He's like, whatever. He's like, I don't know, Mike. He's like, but that's fam now.
But nah, that's love, man. And you know what? We're out here doing what we're supposed to do. Like, this is our responsibility, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got the data and no one's doing it, so we might as well do it. You know, obviously there's a cost for production time and all that shit, but at the end of the day, everyone's cool.
Like, I be telling people all the time, it's like, oh, you got me fucked up if you think I don't want to get paid off the hard work and efforts of the shit that I'm doing, but I'm not about to lie to you and play it like it's something different. Like, yeah, I love this culture, but let me tell you how I feel about this culture. I love this culture enough that I would much rather be doing this full time than the other side hustles and other things that we have in play. That's how much I love this culture, but I'm not about to pivot off of that shit about no money.
Yeah, you're not gonna sit there and tell somebody something is something that's not.
And so,
Yeah.
Mike, you and me, it's not like we out here struggling. So it's hard for me to fathom how guys who have the money that they have can even convolute themselves to that opinion. Like, it's not like we live in bad, Mike. Like, we comfortable enough in our situations that we yeah, like we really just want this shit to crack because we know we doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Ain't that what we talk about? So
Yeah.
it's like, if we not pressed from the seats that we sitting in, the fact that these niggas be moving like they pressed with hundreds of millions of dollars.
What's the
like,
rush
nigga,
for?
Please.
What's the rush for?
Why
don't you build this out?
Stress?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless this was never yours in the first place.
Right.
You know?
Mike, we talking about guys that been in 7 and 8 figures for a long time.
Yeah.
We talking about our 6-figure shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
And it's like, you telling me you stressed. It's like, no.